Hello. My name's Amanda. I am American. I moved to the UK on a spouse visa, and I know what you're thinking. How is this an adult woman who is old enough to be married and obtain a spouse visa? She has the voice of Angelica Pickles from the Rugrats. To which I would say to you, you dumb babies! No, I am actually old enough to be married. That said, I was 25 when I got married, so I was a child bride. I've been married for 9 years to a man from Worcestershire. Thank you. It has taken me 9 years to learn how to say that. I hope at some point in the next 9 years to learn where it is. I'm also a vegan. But I'm going to subvert your expectations about what vegans are like by not talking about it anymore. The year that I got married and moved to the UK, the Home Office actually tweeted on Valentine's Day. I took a screenshot of this just because people don't believe that it's real. The Home Office tweeted, #roses are red, violets are blue. If your marriage is a sham, we'll be on to you. #Happy Valentine's Day. But like I said, I've been here for 9 years now, so either that means my marriage is not a sham or they are not yet on to me. It's almost kind of quaint when you look at it now, because this was 2013, and with everything with Suella Braverman, it's harder to come up with a cute, pithy rhyme for Rwanda, isn't it? It's enough to make me want to go back to the United States, where politics is very normal. I have an aunt who is an evangelical Christian. She doesn't believe in evolution. One of the things that she believes is that God put dinosaur bones in the earth to test our faith. Which, fair play to her, is actually quite a good test if you think about it. Because, if you think, I don't have a problem with Christianity, but if you think that the resurrection of Jesus is a more plausible story than lizards used to be bigger, it's quite a lot of faith, in my opinion. But I don't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore because I'm a UK citizen now. Thank you. I swore an oath to the Queen, which I suppose is void now. I passed the life in the UK test, meaning I know all the very important things that one has to know in order to sustain life, to live in the UK. For example, who is the first person to run a mile in 4 minutes? That's one guy who can stay. The rest of you are deported. That is my understanding of the immigration rules. It's a pub quiz. I am going to say one more thing about veganism. Do you know that condoms are not vegan? The mainstream condom brands that you buy in Boots or whatever, most of them are not vegan. You have to get the vegan ones special. And I have been using vegan condoms ever since I went vegan 5 years ago. And I have 4 beautiful children. I think, apart from taking the test, there are some, less official ways that I've kind of become British in the time that I've lived here. For example, I have learned to enjoy cold water swimming because it's the only kind of water that you have here. I went to Cornwall at the end of August when the water in the sea is supposedly as warm as it gets, and my tits fell clean off. And the water was freezing. There is one way that I haven't quite adapted to British culture, though, which is that I have not quite mastered the art of being so polite that I say the opposite of whatever it is that I am actually feeling. And I think the worst example of English people doing this is the way that they use the word unfortunately. Unfortunately, I won't be able to process that return for you today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to offer you the position. Unfortunately, I am going to have to ask you to leave the lush Oxford Street location. None of that has anything to do with fortune, right? I think that when an English person starts a sentence with the word unfortunately, what they are saying is, go fuck yourself. But they're trying to blame it on the fates. Thank you very much.
For example, I don't have an hourglass figure, but I do have like greasy hair, a permanent mustache, and like a really bad intolerance to chili. Yeah, everyone's like, don't you find that you're overtly sexualized being a Latina? I'm like, no, I don't have that problem. Growing up, the vibe was very like, body shaped like a goddess. And for me, I'm pretty stout, so for me, it's more like, body shaped like a rhombus. And I'm okay with that. But yeah, so I grew up in Miami, Florida. My family is Panamanian, but I live here in London, which makes for some like conflicting observations, right? Like my family in Panama are always like, you are so American. And my friends in Miami are like, I just think you're really Latino. But all you guys in London are just like, I just find you really jarring. I get it. I'm on your level. I was at a restaurant the other day and there was a table of American girls right next to me. And I was listening into their conversation because I had no choice. And I just thought to myself, I was like, next time someone asks me if I'm from America, I'm going to be like, no hablo inglés. Done. Easy. So I grew up in Miami, Florida. Anyone ever been to Miami, Florida? Yeah. Any words? Like what comes to mind when you think about Miami? Correct. Anything else?
Faded.
What?
Faded.
Faded? Yeah. Faded as in like wasted? Or faded as in like melting away? Yeah. So that's sort of the vibe there. Miami is like a very toxic swampland built on dirty money. It's filled with beautiful Latin American women and men who like to fuck alligators. Sort of the vibe there. I'm, growing up, I'm only realizing now that a lot of my friends' dads were actually drug dealers, right? Like I had one friend whose dad was 35, picked her up in a yellow Lamborghini from school once, and I thought, Gabriela, what does your dad do for a living? And she said, I think he's an entrepreneur. You just have to watch like one season of Ozark to figure out what that means. It's all you gotta do. But it's interesting. I decided to move to London, right? So I could diversify my friend group. And by that, I mean leave the dirty money from Miami so I could like maybe marry into the royal family or something, hoping that being Latina would like deem me interesting or exotic enough, that something like that could happen. So I decided to make friends in high places. And I befriended a girl called Cressida. I don't know if do you guys know her? Is she here? And I knew that Cressida came from money because when I asked her, she said, oh no, babe, I'm not rich. I'm upper middle class. That's how you knew. And now I'm really good friends with Cressida's friend group, Millie, Tilly, Lolly, Pilly, and Molly. We're all always hanging out, having a blast together. Absolutely. No, it's amazing. It's a lot of women supporting women. Like, they'll all just, like, support each other when they leave their jobs and things like that. Like, Molly would be like, isn't it so noble of Lily that to leave her job as a lawyer to start that line of bamboo-based yoga leggings? She's just gotten VC funding. And it turns out the VC is just her dad. It's amazing. I live in East London. Anyone ever go to East London? Yeah? Woo! Yeah, I just wanted to live by Brick Lane or in that area because I love vintage shopping. I love shopping secondhand. I really love to know where my pieces are from. So I came across this like super cute little place called Cash Converters. It's so adorable. And I got this necklace there and I was like, I need to know the provenance of this piece. So I asked the man, I was like, who made this? Like, tell me the story. Like, who brought this in? And they told me that someone dropped it off hours earlier because they needed money to buy crack. So shop local. Yeah, shop local. I'm the daughter of an immigrant. So I don't know if if you grew up with the son or daughter of an immigrant, you know that like your parents worked really hard so that, you're not allowed to complain. And I've been talking a lot to my mom about things like mental health. It's going okay. I'll be like, Mom, I have this thing called anxiety, like, have you ever felt this way? Like, do you know what I mean? And she goes, I heard about it, but I never seen it. I'll leave you on this. I started to be a little bit more open about my bisexuality. Mainly because being quiet about it wasn't getting me enough attention. And I have friends that tell me, they're just like, you know, like Estefania, like you should ditch men altogether. Like men are trash, men are trash. And while I do agree, like men can be trash sometimes, I just really do love to recycle. Thanks guys, I'm in Estefania.
All right, does anyone else have a Hawaiian shirt on today? That's just me. Okay, so I don't have to have a personality right now. Just give me that. I haven't done stand-up in 2 months, so please bear with. I've become a lazy piece of shit recently. I think doing stand-up is a lot like going to the gym. You know, like I was just doing too well. I had to give myself a break. You know, because people on the tube when I was sitting in the pregnancy seat, they were starting to ask me to get up now. So I'm like, what? And I have to go home and like bulk up so I could sit in the pregnancy seat. But for reals, I took off 2 months because I got married recently. I have a husband now. I'm a wife. I finally fulfilled my destiny as a woman. And I can post about my husband on Facebook and complain about him like all the other 45-year-old women that I have on Facebook, because that's my group. But it's been weird to start calling him my husband. It hasn't like fully sunk in yet. I'll be like, oh, my boyfriend, my legal boyfriend. Yes. I finally got my marriage visa, so I can officially stay here. Yes. They bought it. He bought me. I am his property now. And thank you for your dowry of 12 sheep and the house in the Lake District and all your credit card debt and anything, all your mental illness that can be passed on to future sperm. It's fine. Everyone was like super supportive of us getting married. It was great, but no one was more supportive than my mother, because for the last couple of years, she's worried that I'm a man. She's the most transphobic person you've ever met, and ever since I got my hair cut short, she's like, "Are you sure? Please just remember you're a lady. You're a lady." And even during the ceremony, there was a point where the person said, "Oh, now does this man take this lady to be his wife?" And all I heard from behind me was, "Oh, she's a lady!" And then she started crying. Just one thing to know about, she is one miscarriage away from having Munchausen's by proxy, and that's just a good way to sum her up as a human being. My parents came to visit me. My parents came to visit me in London. They've never been here before, and I don't think that they'll ever come again. From these two comments, I asked my dad, "Do you like it?" He's like, I don't like London. It's too diverse." And my mom was just like, "There's just so many languages being spoken around here. Just so many languages in the most global city in the world." Yes. It was okay. The day after the wedding, while we should have been on our honeymoon, my parents decided to book a coach tour to go from London to Windsor Castle to Stonehenge to Bath. So instead of spending time with my parents were on our honeymoon with us. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And we were just surrounded by other Americans on a coach just talking about real estate. So they were like in their own comfort zone. So good for them. But when we got to Bath, it was fine overall. When we got to Bath, my dad got really drunk on 3 beers and started telling my husband all these like family traumas that took me 27 years to find out. And now I'm pissed off. Was I not the son that they wanted after all this time? They've chosen someone else over me. It's horrible. But yes, I haven't written a set in 2 months, so I'm trying to remember everything I've done. Okay. Yeah, so let's just wrap it up before I embarrass myself further. But people keep asking me like, "Oh, are you sure that you're marrying a man? Why would you look very, very gay?" I'm also confused with you. I was meant to be a lesbian. But then I moved here and I found out that women are really hard to date all the time. It's like pulling teeth to date a woman here, which I know is what you don't have in this country. Please don't shoot me for that. Actually, you can't because there's no guns here. So please don't stab me after the show for that joke. But I would just like to point out that I've had we were both bisexual, so we're the gayest looking straight couple you'll ever see in your entire life. And even our courtship was very lesbian. You know, like we met on Tinder. We went on a couple of dates where we're like, what are we friends? I don't know. And we friend zoned ourselves, and then we moved in together and got married within a year. So despite my mom's best efforts, I am in a lesbian relationship. Thank you so much, guys.